He's dealing with some things, right?
No, he said he just had to go for a walk. I think.
Nah, you ain't see the chat yet.
No, I saw the chat.
He's dealing with some things, bro.
No, he's not. You guys are stupid.
I would have to go for a walk too.
Y'all are crazy.
It's a revolt from in the home, Joe.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give us about 2 minutes before we get into the vibes. Before we do all that good shit. Um, oh, Matic, we missed you last week.
Happy to hear.
Why do you say it like it?
It feels good to be missed.
That's what I like to hear, man.
Cats want to talk about some stuff. Cats pick the right time to talk about certain things.
I mean, we could get to him.
I don't need to talk
No,
about
we'll
it.
get to him. Like that's what I'm saying. We have time. There's no one's
Hey,
running. No one's running. I think actually I'm glad you said that because you said niggas you said niggas scared.
What did he say?
enforcer here, baby.
Oh,
Yeah,
enforce it.
there we go.
Yeah, like we'll
Illegal.
address.
Listen, if you're gonna slander one, we gotta slander them all. You know what I'm saying? I might can get into my epiphany that I had today as well. You know what I'm saying? It depends on where we go here. You know what I mean?
Did this epiphany come before or after the fantasy trade?
Before
Okay. Okay.
it's been formulating. I think it finally just, you know what I mean, just popped off. So
Okay. Oh, okay. We got a full theory now.
yeah, I get it. I get it.
I understand it now.
Unserious people all around. Um,
Mhm.
what? Shawty's are interesting. Okay. All right. Everybody. Is everybody ready to banter?
Of course.
All right. Stretch it out. Because we're gonna. I don't know if we're gonna get toxic, but we're gonna get a little toxic,
We having fun today.
and we're gonna get toxic right off the bat. So I just want everyone to be prepared. Um, and it's gonna be. It's actually gonna be a bit of stuff that we talked about the last time Omatic was here with out Mook, and the last time Mook was out here without Omatic. So, uh, I don't know if you saw, but last week we were talking a lot about the midterms and about the elections and things of that nature. When Mook, when you came in late the other week, Mook, we were talking about democratic socialists with Omatic,
Like,
and
for example, people like Madani and shit like that.
yeah, and their platform and the things they are trying to spearhead as for the Democratic Party. Now, I need everyone to remember those two things: midterms, Democratic Socialist. Okay, those two concepts are going to be very important for the next couple of minutes of conversation. Just keep that in mind. Now, with that being said, we have the midterms coming up in
September.
November of this year. And almost all the conversation surrounding the midterms is essentially, can Democrats win on a socialist essentially platform? If can the large coalition of Democrats win national elections using a socialist platform? And we've had some people say yes, some people say no, a bunch of back and forth. We've seen some positives. New York, Mandani is like a positive, and we've seen other places where they haven't essentially won. But
They're doing all right in Michigan right
Michigan is a battleground place where we're currently having these same conversations, right? But let's get to the actual conversation of electability versus what I think is electability versus social issues. So, and we're gonna bring in, I think everybody's favorite WNBA player at the moment, Sophie Cunningham. So this is all going to all tie in. You gotta just stay with me, just like for like 20 more seconds. I promise I'll tie all this in. So, like I said, midterms are coming up, and a very polarizing thing in the Democratic Party will be how can they court basically socialist votes, but from non-black people, because black people tend to vote Democratic for the Democratic Party in overwhelming numbers. So the conversation now has been kind of pushed to how can the Democrats court socialist or socialist-like policy and still, be respectful to their black base. And I think there's a real issue that the Democrats are facing because they don't know if they want to win elections or be the face of moral grandstanding in politics. And I really think they're gonna have a really big issue. And I bring up Sophie Cunningham because to me that is the perfect kind of intersection of all these things. Sophie Cunningham, straight white woman, overwhelming, plays basketball in a black league. She recently made the comments about transgender women in sports. And it got a bunch of hoopla around it.
What'd she say?
There's no place for transgender women in sports. Transgender people in sports. That's what she said. Or in women's sports. And that became a talking point. And for the last couple of days, that has been the initial talking point. To me, that's crazy. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't necessarily feel strongly enough about her stance. Sophie Cunningham is allowed to have that stance. She's allowed to think what she wants to think. But there are, I think, according to the NCAA, there were 10 transgender people in all of Division I sports. In all of it, there were 10. That is probably less than a percent of a percent. We're talking like 0.00001.
Yeah, that's a fraction of a fraction.
This isn't a real issue. Like transgender people in sports, at least at the level we're talking about, is not a real issue. So to amplify that for what reason? Why have this conversation if literally in the history of the WNBA, there's been one player who has identified as transgender. One. This is not a thing where we have a...
Shout out to
There's not an overwhelming large group of people who are transgender who are trying to do this. If you want to even take it to the youth sports level, I don't know if you can go...
Percentage is even lower.
I don't know if we have like this great number of high school people or transgender people who are in high school who want to play sports. So there's this very small group of people.
Even at the collegiate level.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We know what the numbers are. It's 10, at least at D1. At the high school level,
they're not. Oh no, Charles. Add on to your point. They're not good.
The swimming lady who had all this controversy, she finished in 5th place. So like,
and then there was another young lady that was she was a fencer, trash. Like she was like no bullshit. It was like out of 125, she real life might have been like 123.
So this isn't an actual like real issue within not just the transgender community, but within the women's sport community.
It's crazy because I read that article last year, Charles. I didn't even know this was gonna be a topic.
But at large, like the larger issue is that most people, if you ask them, should transgender people be able to play in women's sports, they'd probably tell you no. Like I don't think anybody on any side, but they would also tell you that's not what's happening. They'll tell you that there needs to be more nuance to the conversation. And for me, that relates back to the democratic socialist thing where most democratic socialists, in particular the people who are running for offices, are not saying things like defund the police. They're not saying stuff like free Palestine. Like they're just not. And the few that are a very, very small group.
It's 2 of them.
And everybody understands. And for me, the Democrats have made it very clear that like certain issues are hard to get elected on. They have made, the Democratic establishment has made it very clear that Palestine, Medicaid for all, these are issues that they believe don't translate well nationally and are hard for people to get behind.
Defunding the Pentagon.
Sophie Cunningham has made it very clear that the idea of transgender people in sports is something that is hard for people to get behind. And most people, whether they openly agree to it or not, agree with her stance. Like, if you ask somebody, should transgender people be allowed to play in the WNBA, most people would tell you no. And then they would tell you, well, with a caveat. They tell you that someone like, for example, Giannis couldn't transition and play in the WNBA. That would be unfair. And I think most people would agree. But like I said, it's such a small number of people and such a small issue. Why give this so much life?
And that's not how science works either, though, because there would never be a Giannis type person transition. And when I say Giannis, I mean like the testosterone levels wouldn't be that high. Like that's what, like the hormones would be totally different. So like he wouldn't be the brutal force that he is in the NBA. Like you can't compare that. Like
well, that's the I think the point that's the thing. The point is that if someone transitions at a certain point, should they be allowed? And that's what I'm saying. There's a nuanced conversation to be had, but it's not a real conversation because there's no one actually doing it. And that is my point. If the idea is we want to grow women's sports or da-da-da and all this other stuff, that's fine. Have the conversation be about things that are actually pertaining to the advancement of women's sports. Transgender athletes just is not a thing. Like, there's just not a... Are there people who maybe are fans of... Sure. But the actual people involved wanting to be part of it, it's just not... There's just not enough people there for this. So why make this a whole conversation piece, bring so much more attention to it, and make it the focus of something that literally less than 1% of people will actually become involved in? It makes no sense to me.
I'm confused.
Two things you said earlier to answer your question.
How did this even come up for Sophie, right? Like, I just rolled over.
It was on her pod, I think.
I mean, but why are we even asking this?
Well, that's
so confused, bro.
Well, that's
I woke up the other day. I'm like, why is
this a conversation piece? Why is this a conversation? And that's my point. Confused. My point is that they use it as a conversation piece because it is able to swing the conversation. If you make this about transgender, whatever, this becomes a cultural conversation. This becomes one of those things. It becomes a MAGAverse. It becomes all these things.
And all of the basketball fans, her teammates fans that we don't like, are very big fans of her as well. That's the thing. Like, people are fans of things for whatever reason. Like, the whole idea of the democratic socialists, that's why I keep tying these things together, is the idea that those people are extremists, that the people who support that way of thinking aren't with the general idea of everybody, that they're fringe, that they're like a fringe idea or a fringe group. My exact point is that Sophie's thought process is very minute. It is a part of how Sophie feels. While you guys may say bigoted, most people have said they feel the same way. They don't want transgender people in their sports. Now, there's always a nuance. And that's the issue, that most people would rather have the conversation with nuance, but that's not how these conversations work. I would much rather have a conversation about nuance when it comes to housing and it comes to Medicaid for all. But that's not how normally these conversations go. You get labeled as something, and then that's what it is. Mandani's a communist. We literally did an interview with a man who called Mandani an extremist. Yeah.
Like, when talking about right-wing extremists, and
we compared him to Joe Rogan.
And we mentioned someone on the left, he said, like Mandani, like AOC. So once again, I don't know Mandani to be an extremist, but people think of him in such a way. And people think that
I also don't think democratic socialists go anywhere near communism.
Well, that's my point. That they don't. But the idea is, or the public sentiment is that, and once again, you got people in here saying that Sophie wasn't wrong, and that's the truth of the matter, that people, I don't think, want to sit with that. There are people who maybe don't agree with Sophie on a lot of things, but they do agree with her on that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I ask people, is it about electability, or is it about these actual social issues? Because if it's about something like electability, then you have to be like, Sophie is right. Way more people feel like she does than don't. So shouldn't you agree with the consensus or the majority? But most of you understand that if there is a minority group that is being harmed, that's wrong, and we should act upon such. So why can't you take that same logic for the trans community and apply it to other communities? That is the connection that I want everybody to
You
try to make.
you don't lose your job for real.
That, well, once again,
Unless you know what I'm saying. Like the consequence is not the same. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not as like other
I don't.
things aren't as touchy subjects. It's in certain places, certain things depending on what we talking about. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to like impoverished communities or what's the word I'm looking for? Underrepresented communities. It's just like certain things about someone we let it flat. Like it's cool for jokes, good for comedy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just what it is. I think it's kind of like the status quo, I guess you could say. But I mean, I don't know, Charles. The oppressor be oppressed in my eyes. So
I don't deny that. I'm just saying that elections are won in a very particular way. So, if the idea is that the Democrats believe that they cannot win elections because leftists or certain ideologies are not a winning ideology, I'm perfectly fine with that. I saw someone in the chat just say the Democratic Party has moved to the center. Okay, if that is the thought process, then let's use that logic all across the board. Transgender LGBTQ rights and whatnot aren't aren't as popular as other things. So why focus so much on that if you are part of the Democratic Party? But they will not do such because they will tell you that is bigoted, that is such and such. Why don't you use that same logic and apply it to all of these other issues that your constituents have? Tying the last thing I want to tie to the Democratic Party and the fact that I think they're setting themselves up for a shit show. Um,
I was about to say it's because they don't have no young people in the party for real. But
well, 2028, they've been talking about the primaries and they've been talking about which state gets to go first, South Carolina or Las Vegas. And recently, representatives from South Carolina came out and said that if the Democratic Party decided to go Vegas first in the primary, it would be basically a slap in the face to black voters.
for sure,
I want people to remember that South Carolina has not voted Democrat in a presidential election since I believe 1976.
Nancy Graham went off or some shit like that.
I don't even know, but 1970 was the last time they voted Democrat in the presidential election. I don't believe South Carolina has voted for a Democrat in their state since 2006 to the state electorate since 2006.
Like Congress or something.
Yes. What sense does it make to start a national primary in a state that can't be won by a Democrat? And here's my issue. If you believe that the Democrats have little respect for black people in this country, how does holding them to doing a primary in a state that they can't win change that? What incentive does that change?
Who has more electoral votes between the states?
Which states? Like that's what I'm saying.
No,
If
I'm
you,
talking about Vegas and these two specifically.
Vegas and South Carolina, I believe Vegas has more electoral votes.
Okay.
Vegas is a swing state. Vegas is a state
Yeah, I'm
that
not saying right. Nevada
Democrats
definitely won. Nevada
in the
definitely won today.
within the last decade have won during the presidential election. To me, Democrats as a whole have to decide what they want to do. Do you want to win elections, or do you want to be able to tell people that you have the moral high ground? And once again, the history of the United States is the history of the United States. You cannot change the fact that black people have been disenfranchised in this country. You can do something about it, but you cannot change the history. You can actually make laws, or you can make policy that helps black people in this country. You can surely do that if you want to, but holding grievances from the past and hoping that you can identity politics your way into getting Trump out of the White House is so foolish. Once again, the Republican Party has decided that they don't care. Like they do not care about policy and this and that. They will do whatever they want to do to win. That's all that matters. Trump wants to win. Republicans want to win. They don't care if they got to vote with a dude who called their mother. Like Ted Cruz votes in line with Donald Trump, and he disrespected his mother and his father.
And his wife.
I'm sorry, his wife and his father, and that didn't matter to him. So what makes you guys think that you trying to chastise certain politicians is going to change? It doesn't change them. They're not going to do anything. Like I really want the people who who consider themselves to be like politically savvy to make politically savvy decisions. Like screaming into the void that you should do something just because doesn't that's not political strategy. That's stupid. So like I said, when we asked Howard Poskin here about like the vote blue only brigade, he was very adamant that he was still going to vote blue regardless. And to me,
Dog is facts. And the state where it's just like, that's crazy.
And to me, that's a very dangerous precedent to set, because you get stuff like people in South Carolina saying, well, if you don't do things the way I say do it, then that means you just hate all black people. And then when Trump gets in office again, people will say, well, why didn't the Latinos? Well, because you have to court all voters. You can't just court certain voters. So once again, if black people have very specific policies that they want to be changed, they should advocate for that. Advocate for that loud and strong to the Democratic Party. But just going, hey, don't do this because I'm black, that's not a policy. That's not a real policy. And I really wish like the Democratic leaders or whoever within their party would understand that that's not a policy, and you can only live on that for so many election cycles before people just go, no, we want something else.
Hey, man.
Democrats be fake woke. Democrats be fake woke. You know what? That's a interesting concept, because I think that ties into my next thing. Keeping with Mandani, he said he was going to arrest Netanyahu about a week ago, and then this week, he came out with another video saying that he cannot arrest Netanyahu because he doesn't have the power, but that the United States federal government should, and he implored them to. Do you?
He's a mayor, not a governor.
Do you? I have two thoughts on this. One, does international law actually matter? Because if Mandani is saying that the prime minister of Israel is literally a criminal and has been held to some sort of international law,
international crimes court, say,
you know, if he's been held to some sort of international issue, you know, whatever, does that matter or not? And if it doesn't, how are people okay with Maduro being snatched up in his home in Venezuela, but not Netanyahu being snatched up when he gets on American soil? I'll leave that to you guys to conversate if you would.
Two different instances, two different situations. I feel like the propaganda for both are very strong, especially when it came to the Venezuela one. Like, all we know about South America is like they're thieves, they're impoverished countries, they're third world countries. They have no resources, but yet we've been sterile since the 1970s. What else? Yeah, just the same bullshit we've been hearing, and then you hear about and then Israel is just like they give us the Judeo-Christian line of thinking and propaganda, along with the ties between the faiths of the Christian church and the Jewish faith. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yeah, bro. Like it's kind of, I think it's easy to feel sympathy for one, especially when you're a certain part of the America, like whether you're a Christian or a white person. It's easier to have sympathy for one. And then it's just like Maduro, they say he was a narco. Like, at least for my whole damn, like, at least for as long as I can remember. Like, he was a narco. He didn't hold fair elections, even though the last one that he won, they say he won fairly, but yeah, it was highly contested. And you have about CIA and all this other shit going on in the government. So it's just like a lot of other stuff. So, but the unfair treatment and viewing, I just think it's weird. Just like the first one, bro. So, like, it's either a race thing or a demographic thing. Like, we look at brown people as criminals, and we look at those nice Jewish people in the over there killing people, trying to form settlements, selling off land in New York. That's in the West Bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, we look at those people differently. And then America loves a criminal. Like, we hold Jesse James and all these mobsters, Meyer Lansky and all the niggas in high regard too. So I always look at that at the end of the day. But yeah, but the unbalance between the two viewings and all that, bro, I can't call it. But we've been stamped that Maduro got kidnapped. Um, you seen this trial date that said till next September?
Yeah, 2027.
Mm.
Yeah, everything you
Like,
said
the fuck,
sounds.
like,
I
and
think it
then it's
sounds good in theory, but if you go into
all this
another,
shit,
if
laws
you
of theories, Trump.
if you go into another person's country, because I remember I actually watched the video of Omatic when we talked about it, and Omatic being like, it felt like a movie, like the taking of Maduro felt like a movie, and to me, that is enough to say that one of these things are not like the other. If you go into a sovereign nation and remove a president, is much different than a prime minister
Yeah, but that
coming
nigga, he be
into
on U.S. soil though.
who.
Netanyahu be on U.S.
That's
soil.
that's my point. It's
Yeah,
different to go into someone else's country and take that person out versus
for
someone
sure.
coming onto your country and then you not doing the law, you not putting the law into work. Like
Into effect.
those two things are vastly different and not in a
Yeah, but
oh
nobody looking at it that way.
no. I think actually I think a lot of people actually are like a lot of people are asking. And I think that is the somewhat the brilliance of Mondani.
If that's the case, I don't think enough people are asking. Because if that was the case, then why is Netanyahu flying to D.C. so openly, so welcoming, so freely?
That's I think that's to me the brilliance of Mondani is that if he doesn't do the spectacle of saying he was going to arrest Netanyahu for being a war criminal, no one is having this larger conversation.
But this isn't the first time he said it though.
When was Mondani? Mondani just became the mayor,
Yeah,
so
but he said when he was running, he said like before he
he
like
never said when he was running he would.
he said they asked him, he was like, would you arrest Mondani? He was like, yeah. He said in the interview. We're like,
I think they asked him, and yes, that was recently. I don't think that was before he was the mayor of anything. The question at the thing was, will you go to Israel? And he was like,
no, I
everybody
remember they
else,
said no.
and
He
yeah,
did tell
everybody
you.
else on the when they were running for mayor said they would go
Yeah.
to Israel
You
first.
you talking about the debate panel.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
No,
No,
this is
no. I'm saying, but he has changed his stance on the arrest
oh,
since. That's what I'm
oh.
saying. This week he made another video saying that he cannot arrest Mondani.
No, I'm
He
hip to
cannot
that.
arrest. Yeah. So for me, the changing of the stance is a calculated move because if you don't mention I will arrest him a couple weeks prior, you can't get to the hypocrisy of all of these other people allowing him to be here. And then, but also being okay with arresting Maduro. You can't have one, because if he doesn't set up the play, if he doesn't set up the I'm going to arrest him, nobody is having, there's no conversation. It's just Netanyahu, once again, Netanyahu's been coming, like to your point, has been flying into the United States for multiple years now while he's had war criminal accusations. He met with Donald Trump when Donald Trump wasn't president.
Right. He was in the United States the day he was in the United States the day the ICC said that he was a war criminal.
Yeah, so
like he was talking to the Pentagon that day.
But I think once again, the smart
they didn't have to let him out the building that day. That was last year.
The brilliance of Mamdani is that now the hypocrisy gets put on display in front of people in a way that they can't run and hide from it. Once again, I've seen multiple people say that United States.
I think the brilliance is the release of the videos, the timing of the release, because the second one didn't drop until it dropped the night of what's the name that Maduro's sentencing came out.
Yeah, I don't know when each video dropped, but the play is that now you have to, if you're going to say
Tuesday,
if you're going to say that, hey, arresting Mamdani can't arrest for whatever reason, then you have to be forced to answer why it was okay for you to go snatch up somebody from another person's country.
For sure.
Like it's an intellectually dishonest conversation not to have with people if you're going to have it. I don't think people want to do that. Mamdani forces them in a way to have you. There's no way you can go without looking like a hypocrite.
I still don't think, for sure, I agree with you 1,000%, but I still don't think the perspective on the two situations are the same. Because it's just like one's a narcos, and then one is supposedly like defending his homeland. Like that's literally how the two perspectives were painted to people. And like Charles, we know, but I don't think a lot of people really know.
But see, that's the thing. Like you keep saying, like that's the perspective. Well, that might be. There's enough people who have pushed against both sides, both points on both sides. Like the reason why we're currently having conversations about Israel and the way we are is because people actually are not buying that conversation piece that you have said. So,
but Charles, how long we also have been having this conversation? It's been longer than since October 7th.
No, once again, I look back on this page and we had a conversation about Israel in 2020. Like, so there have been conversations where we weren't the first, won't be the last, won't be the only people to have these conversations about these things. But there has been a gradual shift in public sentiment.
Oh, yeah.
Prior to, on October 7th.
And the anti-Semitism tag, too. Can't forget about that one.
On October 7th.
I'm saying that's why they haven't spoke about the other guy.
It was virtually no conversation that asked what was Israel doing. Now, there's many people saying, is what Israel doing right? Is there a genocide? There is actual conversation. Piers Morgan, of all people, has literally been like,
Tucker Carlson.
You can't, it's not anti-Semitic to ask what is going on in Gaza. That's my point. There has been a gradual shift in public sentiment. Now, with Mamdani, he forces you, once again, the hypocrisy.
The legality of things.
He forces people to ask, whoa, well, if the Americans can't arrest Netanyahu because they're not even a charter to the ICC, what does international law matter? Like, he's forcing people to have political debates that I don't think they would have had prior unless he did what he did. Sure. And once again, I don't want to say like that's all. I also
think the ICC is a racist organization when it comes to punishing people for war crimes, but that's a different topic.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't like to give too much credit because I don't know if the brilliance is within him or just the fact that he's going against a bunch of idiots. But I definitely think that was
a beautiful order, but I also think that he's going against a bunch of idiots. But the boy good politically, though.
Yeah, I think, like I said, the last video was quite the funny video because you waxed poetic a week earlier about arresting a guy, and then you basically are like, no, the federal government, that's your job. And once again, you force people to ask real questions. Why isn't the United States signed to the ICC? Why is international law a matter of a, a matter for some people but not for others?
Guantanamo Bay, baby.
For,
That's why
force
we're
these
not a part of
force
the
these
ICC.
force these conversations. Um, lastly,
2001. Shout out Dick Cheney.
not my last thing, but my last kind of political thing was squatters. So there's a squatter removal service in Baltimore that
Seen the
I
video,
that
Charles.
I saw, and I just find this guy amazing. So, quick detail: there was a dude who was in jail. He got out of jail in 2020. He said he was selling drugs. He sold enough drugs to buy a truck. After he bought a truck, he said he started helping do dumps, trash dumps, housing dumps. After doing that for a little while, he said he started getting calls to help evict squatters. He said he got in the first year doing such, he got up to like $100,000 doing that, helping
That's it.
evict squatters.
I say he's never going back to the streets.
And now that is his job. He recently got interviewed by, I believe, ABC 6 in Baltimore, and they had a
I think
conversation.
it's ABC 6 or 17.
It could be 6, it could be 17, but the ABC Baltimore affiliate interviewed him, and he basically told his story. And he said that basically his work falls in a gray area in which he is allowed to try to get the squatters out any way he possibly can without physically harming them. We talked about squatters a few months back here, and
Shout out
I
to Tamika, man.
I think this is amazing. I actually love everything this man has done.
Two, 2-11.
2-11. I'm sorry. So it was Baltimore 11, and I just found that just to be amazing. Like I was fascinated by everything about this story. I would love to talk to him. I need to find the squatter guy because like removing squatters to me. Oh, and I'm sorry. I think the detail I left out that is my favorite part is that his team is called the Wolf Pack,
Wolves. Yeah, he got the
and
Wolves with him.
they have 6 tiers. Tier 1 starts at 2,000, and he has only had to do a tier 6 once. And when he calls for a tier 6, all 50 wolves come out, and they basically cause chaos, as he says, to get you out of the house. Once again, I just thought it was the most fascinating story I have heard this week, and I just really wanted the rest of you guys to know that. Shout out to the squatter removal cats. Like shout out to squatter removals. Shout out to what they're doing, and lo and behold, when the government won't, and that's what he said. He said the government won't do anything about it, so he said he'll do it himself. And I really appreciate guys like that. Like sometimes you need to pull up your big boy pants and get the squatters out. So I don't know if you guys are fans of the squatter removal. You think he's doing too much? I personally love it. I'm living for it. I would like more of it actually, but those are just my stances.
I'm
Oh,
actually, I'm
Omatic,
actually
you're making
fucking
that
with it.
face. You're making
He
that
is.
face,
He
Omatic.
is making that face.
You're making that face.
Well, I'm just confused. Like, what are the tactics for removal if they don't cause harm? You know what I'm
We don't
saying?
know.
Like,
We don't know.
that's what I'd
No,
like to
no.
know.
You know what's so funny? There's an actual show on TLC about removing squatters, and the whole setup is a man
That's
basically
Charles' favorite network.
a man. Yeah, it's my second favorite for sure. But a man signs the homeowner signs a lease over to the squatting people, and it allows for them to go into the house and occupy the house. Once they occupy the house, they are allowed to do once again everything. This is the TLC show. They're allowed to do everything in their power to basically make it uncomfortable. Sometimes they turn up the thermostat to 85. Sometimes they play music at extremely loud levels. Sometimes they just literally bring a bunch of people and park themselves in the space that the person was living in, like so they can't move around. There's a host of things that at least from the TLC show that they did, and essentially that's what this man is doing. Like this dude is doing, he's causing chaos, making their lives more difficult to live in a place that they're not supposed to be. And once again, I just find that
So, uh,
to be
uh,
fascinating.
so if this is a stand your ground state, you sign that lease over to me. I'm able to do anything in my legal power to get them out the house. Technically, I'm the owner of this because you signed the lease over.
Yes, but once again, leases are once
No, I'm
for a
here
setup. So yes,
depending on language in the contract. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah. No, it's actually I actually think it's an amazing like
Yeah.
it's the most petty of the petty,
It's a vicious man. This
and
legal
I like
system
it.
got all the loopholes, boy. You can tell this joint was wrecked by some of your people.
Omatic, give me. Like I said, I see the face. I'm seeing the puckering of the lips. So
It's the eyebrows for me.
Concerned about the tiers. I know you said there's a one
okay,
to six, right?
yes, yes.
Like, let's say you're on tier one, bro. You spend you spend this two
2000.
bands, but
Okay.
let's say, is there a time frame for it?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
it's the two
That's what I'm
bands
saying.
or
We
two
should get him.
bands. Like,
We should
let's
get
say
him
it's
here
for
so
a
we can
day.
talk. We should get him here so we can
Kind
have
of,
some
yeah.
conversation.
You gotta watch the
I mean,
video
I'm
back because he
intrigued.
definitely held up his sign on the jump where all his data on it.
Cause it's just like, what if I exceed the two bands and I gotta go for, tier two? Like, I didn't plan for that. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
Slim,
Like,
that comes with the quote. Like when you come to the scene, quote me out. You know what I'm saying? Then you let me know what tier it is. When I pay that, if it goes above this, that's not on me. You know what I'm saying? I get a wolves a couple extra dollars though. But you ain't about to upcharge me because you read the situation wrong. That's not how we doing business.
Like I said, I
why
love
does why
America.
does why does why does he have 50 wolves?
First of
What
all,
is
he
that?
in Baltimore. If he the fact that he only got 50 is light to me.
Hold on. Why does he have 50 wolves? It's legitimately killing me. Why
I
does?
wonder how
He,
much they're getting paid as well.
they all
Like,
ex
how
they
much?
you know they all
What's
ex
the
cons
hourly
too.
rate?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. He does more than
Yeah, yeah.
just the squatting work. Like he said, he started
He does construction
with the truck
removal.
with moving trash and construction removal. And as he was doing that, he started getting the inquiries for the for the removing of squatters.
Because he say he
So
help with demolitions too. That's good bread. If you
so
helping with demolitions, that's good bread.
I'm sure he's part of it all. It's all part of
He probably has some city contracts, some state contracts.
yeah, it's all part of the whole shebang. Um, like I said, we'll get to him and we'll have more conversation about him in the near future. I'm sure. Um, some sports, shall we?
Let go.
LeBron. LeBron's decision.
Nah, let's go to the next sport.
What do you mean? I think that is the
Next sport. Next sport.
so LeBron about to be in year 2023. It's year 23. Um, he's said to have w- was said to have been ready to make a decision, but then, according to reports, become irked by Adam Silver saying that he wants him to make a decision. So now LeBron intends to hold off on his decision again. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how much I believe that. I do think LeBron has earned the right, though, if we're going to play that game, to decide when he wants to play basketball, or when and where he wants to play basketball and at what time. And I also don't think it's like he's a needle mover in that sense. Like, LeBron will be on a team and he will help a team. Like, I don't think LeBron doesn't help a team get better, but I don't think you put LeBron on any of these teams right now and you automatically are like, that team is going to the finals or that team is now a contender. Like, if you were a contender before LeBron, you're going to be a contender when he gets there. If you were not a contender before LeBron, I don't think he automatically makes you a contender. So it is what it is. I want to see him in Golden State, though, personally. I think that would be the most fun, the most interesting, the most worthwhile. Going back to Miami or Cleveland doesn't really move me. Uh, and I think somewhere like Minnesota would be funny, but I don't think it's a possibility. So that's where I would go. I would go Golden State as my as the place I would want him to go. Miami, I guess it works, but Cleveland is whatever too. But yeah, Miami, Golden State, and then everywhere else follows next.
I've been said where I wanted him to go. I've been said Golden State.
Oh, I thought you said you wanted him to retire.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely want that nigga to go home. But since he's not going home, I said I would like to see him in Golden State with the good light skinned brother from North Carolina. Because for one, like you said, it make the most sense. I think that probably it looks like I think it would look. It's the most aesthetic basketball to me. Cause him, Giannis, and Bam, that's gonna be nasty. Him, Giannis, Bam, Davion Mitchell with Wigs out there, like cool. Wig guaranteed dub. Davion Mitchell solid. But them other two niggas out there, that's gonna be nasty work. And Giannis has been hurt a lot the last couple of years. Like, granted, I don't know if last year was like a real injury thing, but yeah, they're going back to motherfucking Cleveland. Just don't sit right with my soul for some reason because I don't think the team. Like, I really do think him coming back is more so for like him to compete, win a championship type shit. But I don't know if Cleveland is the best suit. I don't think Golden State the best suit either. But I think it would look the best though if I'm just as a fan watching the sport.
Nomadic.
I mean, I gave a whole soliloquy about this. Go to Cleveland. So I got nothing more for it. But I think to your point, if anybody's earned to bam out and take his time, like I really feel him, his camp, Clutch Sports, Rich Paul. I really feel him. Like this is literally their last shebang,
Is it?
of the. Yeah, I think this is the last time where it's gonna be like this is my summer free agency. This is the LeBron. Like he's done this a few
Oh,
times.
you're talking about like decision making shit.
Yeah, like this is the last shebang. So I mean, I feel him for stretching it out, but also to Adam Silver's point, like he's bamming. Like let's wrap this shit up so
Bro,
we
don't
can
don't
get
wait
the
for this
schedule
nigga
out,
to
bro.
don't wait for this nigga to make the schedule. If it's not his last year, make the schedule, and then until you tell me you're retiring, then cool, we can do that going home ceremony shit. But until then, my nigga, we moving on with the schedule, and you not playing on Christmas Day, Thanksgiving, none of that.
He's the face of the league, bro. We gotta come and
Hey,
turn
hey,
the
bro,
face of the
that's
league.
cute. That's cute. You can play at 3 o'clock. You ain't playing at 8 no more.
Shit.
You know what I'm saying? You 40. You know what I'm saying? We need to get you home with grandma. You know what I'm saying?
You get your home with grandma. That's crazy. All WNBA All Star Weekend, Chicago. A lot of storylines. We touched on Sophie. We'll leave her for the politics, but an actual basketball storyline was this 3 point contest. Sabrina Ionescu, Kayla McBride, Caitlin Clark, all not participants in it. At least two of the three
Continue, Charles. I'm sorry. This is the first I'm hearing of this.
at least two of the three of them said that they were not properly invited, Sabrina and Kayla. So, do you think WNBA is fumbling their All Star weekend? They're doing a good job with it. Do you even care about their All Star weekend? Where do you land?
Um, Pretty weak to me. I've said this, ever since I've become a super W supporter. I think the festivities for their weekend, like the game, the lack of skills competition, but whatever. The Friday night, Saturday night. There's not even 3 days. It's literally a Friday night, Saturday night situation. Um, it's just not. It's never moved me. I think All Star game for our NBA cats. I mean, you go out there, we're seeing the crazy dribbles, the high flying dunks, and all of that. And we just gotta call a spade, man. We don't get that with the girls for real. We're not getting crazy dribbles. We're not getting dunks and all this crazy stuff. So it's never been entertaining to me. I think it's more so an accolade for the players to say that you were an all star. Um, but to the 3 point competition part, I mean, I think that is easily kind of been the better um, competitions to have for All Star weekends in general,
Man or woman?
for the men. And despite the fact that we were at, yeah, but despite the fact that one year we were at a bar at like 3 o'clock, like why is this on right now? Why don't you have it on at
Yeah, that was the
the
year
proper
Sabrina.
time?
We were like, what the
Uh,
fuck is going on?
but
I
yeah,
didn't even
it's
know that
like
shit
why
was
we're
on.
at 3. It's 3 o'clock, bro. Like what is this on for? Exactly. So to that point, I mean, you would think that you would at least have Sabrina in. K Max literally torching the earth this year. And in general, she's always been a great 3-point shooter. So to hear them say that, they didn't get properly, kind of stinks. I mean, the girls that I guess they have in there are cool as well. Caitlin Clark's doing that thing where people don't participate in the All Star Weekend, and I'm just like, I get it, but
Oh, she up her
yeah, the
bomb?
weekend in itself, you know, yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. But in totality, to me, the weekend in itself is kind of lackluster. Um, I'm here for the stud.
I'm about
Bud
to say the
streak.
weekend belonged to
I've
the
been in
Stud
there.
Buds, bro. The weekend
I've
belonged
been
to the
watching
Stud
it.
Buds,
I've been
bro.
watching it, so they about to get turned. They've been turned all day, really, for
They
real.
back streaming?
So I mean, that's what I'm
Yeah,
here.
they been streaming all
72
day.
hours, bro.
They been streaming all
72
day.
hours, bro.
They pulled up on Bam and Asia randomly.
Send me the link, man. Send me
They're-
them my
they're-
girls right there.
They're my favorite people in the WNBA, easily by far.
I'm a little bitter as a Connecticut Sun fan.
Yes, they were both on your team.
Because they left us, and then
But they
Turned up, right?
But they
even
sold the
better than
team,
what they
didn't they?
were.
Yeah, but they
I mean,
been
this was
left.
well before then.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
I'm here, but you gotta let that go.
Yeah.
You gotta let that
I will. I am. But
go. You know what I'm saying?
Well-
That's some crazy. Like you saying, they been gone. Short Courtney been in Minnesota for how many? Like 3 years, right? 2, 3.
She went to somewhere before
I think both
after
of them,
leaving
both of them been gone. It was everybody was gone after 2020.
2022.
That's it.
Yeah.
It was
Okay. I see.
Yeah, like Dejanay was like the last person there.
Just going through a life.
So
Nah, that was the year the whole starting five left, bro. It was all bad 2024, bro.
yeah, but Dejanay got traded mid-season, right? She didn't start the season
Something
on.
like that.
Yeah, she didn't start the season on the team. She got traded to Dallas mid-season.
Yeah.
Well, before we get up out of here, football season is truly like right around the corner. We are just days away from August, and the enforcer is here to make sure that we don't disrespect his
His white
white
king.
savior,
White King.
his white king, Josh Allen. So, enforcer, take it away.
I mean, what was the stances were very clear. Oh, you want to know my epiphany?
Let us know.
Yes,
No?
yes.
Oh, sorry, I looked that way. I said in my mind, I was like, you know what? I think my love for Josh Allen, the white guy that no one really likes, is like how Charles loves Caitlin Clark.
I've been
the
said
white
that.
girl. I never
Yes.
knew I don't agree to that. I
He
never
said it
heard that
on
one
this
at all.
podcast.
I said that literally on this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, then you should understand my love for this white man, then, bro.
Once
It should
again,
be-
I
it
have
should be
literally,
no problem.
I have literally told you this, and I have tried to explain this to
I
you.
don't recall.
What do you mean? I literally was saying to you,
He's doing the same
Yeah.
actions he was doing then now.
literally, I was trying to explain that the way you be trying to defend Luca and Josh Allen, when I do it for Caitlin Clark, you don't understand, but you seem to understand it for your white men, which is crazy to
I
me.
think
The only difference between y'all two is that Charles hates doing it and you don't care. Like, cause people make Charles do it. Like Charles really does.
Yeah, what? That's
Like, he
actually a
doesn't-
great. Like,
Like Charles do not give a
I
fuck.
don't feel that strongly about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
It
like,
just baffles my mind
that's something we used to do in the group chat only.
that when watching, because automatic, we are all watching the same basketball. I know you're watching, and I know you're not. That's why. What was it when we were at Mike's house, and I was like, "Oh," and Mike lied and was like, "Oh, she got 15 points in the first quarter," and I was like, "Oh, you ain't saying nothing now." You were like, "He's lying. She doesn't even have that." And I was like, "Well, you know why I'm doing this because
That was a good lie though.
because if she was playing like some shit, niggas be in the chat consistently. Oh my god,
Facts.
niggas calling her Mel Gibson, niggas saying all types of shit about her, like being fine. Now, if we do this same, if we take those same standards and we apply them to every woman in the WNBA, now it's all of a sudden we're sexist. Now all of a sudden we hate black women. But for some reason, it's okay to apply those standards to her. That's all I ask you. And all I ask you is to apply that same line of thinking that you apply to Caitlin Clark, to apply it to every WNBA player. And people get upset when you, now you're a coon. Niggas is coon because they're asking you to apply the same standard across the board. That's cooning. God bless. God bless.
Nigga said, you know this train of thought that you got for her? Use it abroad.
And here's my issue with the Josh Allen comparison. That's all I'm asking. I am literally asking you guys to use the same standard you use for Josh Allen to use for every quarterback. Josh Allen, in 6 of his 8 seasons, when he has started at least 11 games, has thrown double-digit interceptions. That is a fact. That is not something I am making up. That is not something that I have just decided as a narrative. That is a statistical fact.
You didn't even include the fumbles.
Exactly. Didn't even include the fumbles. Just the interceptions. In 6 of the 8 seasons, he has double-digit interceptions. That's not good. My favorite quarterback of all time growing up was Brett Favre. Literally the reason why Brett Favre was never seen as people thought Brett Favre was a super talent, gunslinger, all of these things. The reason why Brett Favre never ever, in most people's minds, was numero uno, or when he was, it was for a very limited time, was because of the turnovers. Literally, my favorite quarterback growing up, I was told consistently was so great, but could not be the greatest or the best because he turned the ball over too much. I literally sit here and watch Josh Allen turn the ball over time and time again. The last time I saw Josh Allen play a football game in the playoffs, he turned the ball over 4 times. 4. And then people have the audacity to tell me that's not the reason why his team lost. You know what? And once again, I'm going to bring this full circle. I watched Josh Allen play the game of his life versus Patrick Mahomes 1 year in a divisional playoff round. And because of that game, get told that he is the best quarterback since sliced bread. Because he did that versus Patrick Mahomes, whatever. And lose. But that was the
comeback, Charles.
And that was the logic. But I watched Jalen Hurts do the same thing on a greater stage in the Super Bowl, lose, and people say, well, that doesn't matter. I watched that same dude, Jalen Hurts, come back a few years later, then beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, in the playoffs, something Brother Josh has never been able to do, and yet I still have to hear on 4-letter networks in the middle of June that will he be a starting quarterback next year? Like, is his job in jeopardy? So I'm supposed to take those conversations I hear about him, know what I know about Josh Allen, and act like this is all the same. Act like everything is just equal in all parts. No, I refuse. So the same reason why people hate on Caitlin Clark because she gets too much hype, she hasn't won anything yet, and you should be able to understand why people would hate on Josh Allen. Because, like Caitlin Clark, he ain't win nothing. He hasn't done he hasn't done anything special. The MVP he got literally was a take it MVP. Get out of here, bro. Like, we have one, so now we can't keep comparing you to Joe Burrow. All right, now you can be in the conversation with Lamar. You got an MVP. Go. Literally. Once again, don't let Caitlin Clark win the MVP in the next 4 to 5 years. Literally, niggas gonna be like, she didn't deserve it. They just gave it to her. She doesn't deserve it. I promise you.
Nasty word.
The girl scored 45 points, 45 and 10. The first player ever to do that in the NBA history. I go on Threads. The first thing I see, she did that versus the worst team in the league. Once again, there's no logic to these people. These same people, when Olivia Miles did 32-8-8 versus the Storm, MVP. She should be an MVP. So, literally, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make any of this up. And Omatic is rolling his eyes because he knows I'm telling the truth.
I'm also not vibing with you at the same time.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Like,
you don't have to.
the hatred is just there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's never been any acknowledgement, I think, at this point from like the good side of whatever Josh Allen can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's where I think my issue lies. Right? I do not like Clayton Clark at all. I'm not gonna sit up here and be like she's not a hooper. I say this all the time. Like, she is a bucket, she can be, but I'm not. I can still nitpick and be like, oh, she still had 7 fucking turnovers. You literally sitting here. Last game I watched, he had 4 fucking turnovers. We're not going to talk about anything else that he did at all. At all. There's never no acknowledgement of the fact that
Once
he's
again,
a solid
I said he's
quarterback at the
good.
end
I
of the
said
day.
he's a good quarterback. I've said he's a good quarterback before. I just don't think Josh Allen is the best. Once again, that's the funniest thing to me. You're saying the same thing I'm saying about her. Literally saying the same thing. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Anyway, my other issue was y'all niggas was still riding for the Joe Burrow over him, and I just don't understand that. I really
Well,
don't get that.
I'm glad. Let's do that.
And I actually don't. I don't like the comparison at all. And I'm gonna stay here because cats know that even prior to last season, I think the end of the season before, I said I'm really good off Josh Allen. I literally said I am very
You were.
much so good off this nigga. He's still my favorite quarterback. I am not about to wave this flag high. We come back next season, he goes through whatever he does. He was supposed to win it all because the fucking AFC was trash. He loses again. So I'm super good off, bro. When the list came out, I said this
He
is
had
fucking
5
crazy.
turnovers in the
But even
last year.
that's fine. The list came out. It's fucking crazy. He shouldn't be better than Patrick. Nobody can beat Patrick. Patrick should be one. Like, what are we fucking
That's
talking
all I'm
about?
asking.
But when we're talking about these other people,
Yes.
like I don't see the better than Joe Burrow. I don't see the better than Lamar personally, right? Like, I don't see that in 2026. That's all. I was just like, what the fuck?
Here's my thing.
You say we're watching the same basketball. Are we?
No. And here's the thing.
Like, availability is the best ability. How are
Listen.
we putting Joe Burrow in these conversations still?
once
in
again,
2026.
Once again, I'm about to
That's my thing with Burrow.
I'm about to concede something to you. You are right. A lot of the Burrow from my end is from what he did in 2022 and 2021. I have no problem telling you. I have no problem telling you that is where I am basing this off. I need the Josh Allen people to be as honest and say that that's what they're basing the Josh Allen on, because last season wasn't a good season. The season prior, when he was MVP, I'll give you, he only had 6 interceptions. He played much better. So I can give you that. I can admit that Josh Allen he's always up there as one of the top quarterbacks. There's no denying he's been a top 5 quarterback probably since 2020. Every year he's done enough to be top 5 quarterback. But, and a big but, we decide for these guys that the playoff matter. That's what we have decided, whether fair or not. The reason why we kill Lamar is because in the playoffs, he isn't the same Lamar he is in the regular season. That is a plain fact, no matter how you want to slice it. So with Josh Allen, we're going to do the same thing. Josh Allen has great games versus bad teams. That is a fact. Tell me who Josh Allen, name the quarterbacks Josh Allen has beat in the playoffs. Go through the list.
I mean, it's bad.
It's a bad list. And that's the thing. The same thing niggas do with Caitlin Clark. When she scored 45 versus the Storm, it's she played a bad team. When she scored 17 versus the Liberty, it's you see she's not good. You see why can't we do it? Why can't we do the same thing? We're doing the same thing to her. The same thing that is being done to Josh Allen, I am doing to Caitlin Clark, or vice versa, however you want to slice it. We can acknowledge that these two are both great players, but due to the fact that they are white, they get propped up in a manner that other people don't. Why can't we all agree to that? But see, you want to agree with that with Josh Allen. Yes,
I said I was over this nigga too.
No.
I understand what's going on.
Okay,
bro.
all right. See.
Everyone's still doing that. I don't understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? He came up short every single.
And that's
bro.
And that's all.
It's Patrick, bro. He can't beat him. It's over, bro. I don't fucking care no more. I really don't, bro.
And that's the thing. And here's the thing.
Hope for he can get over the hump today or this year. I don't fucking know.
Listen, Peyton Manning didn't get over the hump until year 8. I'm not even one of those people who believe that it's over for Josh Allen. If Josh Allen does it this year, God bless. But you cannot tell me with a straight face that he is held to the same standard that these other quarterbacks are. Him and Justin Herbert Justin Herbert can be up 28-0 in a playoff game and lose that game, and people still talk about him like he's a top 5. Justin Herbert can have 0 playoff wins. I'm talking 0, not 1. And
we all got the same amount of playoff wins.
And people still talk about him like, oh man, Justin Herbert, and Jalen Hurts, who's a Super Bowl winner. People questioning whether or not he'll have his starting job is up for grabs. Like, is that not crazy to you guys?
Sam Darnold too.
So for me, I think it is fair to acknowledge all of these things and put them in their proper context. Josh Allen and Caitlin Clark are generational talents who get the benefit of the doubt because they're white. And whether that's fair or not, that is the reality. We can all acknowledge that and still say them motherfuckers is bad as fuck at when it comes to the sport they play. I just don't understand why it can't be both of those things.
I love a room for both.
And here's the thing. I don't even like the room for both because life is a little bit more simpler than that. Like, it is what it is type shit. But when niggas are quoting Emmett Till in relation to Caitlin Clark flopping, I gotta call a pause. Like I gotta say, everyone, the lady in the USA Today, literally, like I gotta say, everybody needs to take a chill pill just a bit. Bro. Like no one is making any, like, for example, we did this with Embiid and Joker when we were like, oh, they just gave Embiid
MVP,
that MVP, and then we talked about how the white nerds got a hard on for Joker. We've done this across sports. So my thing is that the conversation isn't new or even nuanced, but we don't go to invoking the name of Emmett Till when talking about men for some reason. But when it comes to
do that for Bron,
yeah, but when it comes to Caitlin Clark, for some reason, that seems like a sensible. Like people legitimately believe that is a sensible thing. Like people legitimately in their minds think those comparisons are apt, and I don't understand why everybody is so stupid.
Well, I want to know hey, Charles,
you want the article?
Please do. Send me that motherfucker. I need to know the correlation for that.
I will literally tell you that Caitlin Clark's flopping, the United States of America has a history of white women's tears being weaponized for the violence of black people.
All right. Go.
What do you mean?
All right. Stop.
What do you mean? Stop. No.
They cooking. They cooking, bro.
They're cooking. Literally. You see what I'm saying? This. Everybody is deranged. Nobody is in their right mind.
So that third eye shut, bro. That third eye shut.
Like we're talking about one of literally the most famous lynching in the history of the United States.
What?
The most famous lynching. You're comparing it to a girl who plays basketball and sometimes flops.
That was literally that man was a child, bro.
Like literally, a 13-year-old boy lost his life
over a lie.
But Caitlin Clark flopping is the equivalent because a gambler went into the DMs of Chelsea Gray a couple days after. Can't even confirm that dude was a Fever fan. But now Caitlin, you know what? God bless everybody. You all are batshit crazy. I don't know what else to say.
Hey, but Charles, on a lighter note, we was talking about the stud buzz earlier.
Yes.
You seen her response to Cuz that said he blew her parlay?
That's what I'm saying. I love her. I love Courtney. You broke ass, like, yes.
She said, nigga, get the fuck out my DMs talking about something I messed up your parlay with your broke ass.
Hey, come on, bro. That's my girl. Courtney Williams. Listen.
Yeah.
And here's the thing I like about Courtney.
I love her.
Courtney don't always say the right thing. Like they got into some shit like last time around All-Star break, cause Barstool, like they were like maybe gonna link with Barstool and people had. Courtney will tell you she messed up. She be like, oh yeah, I fucked up. I didn't really know too much about that. I was wrong. I'll move on. I apologize.
Hey, but I wish more people would do that.
Not everything has to be life or death, and I just really want more chill from everybody. So I don't even want to keep going because, like I said, that Emmett Till thing wrecked my fucking mind. I'm trying to
That's
tell you,
wild.
I'm not over that. I'm really not over. Like that shit is a wild statement to put
We
together.
need to get a person that wrote that day flowers.
And my bigger issue is people trying to be like, you don't understand the context. What the fuck? There's no context. It's a
Yeah,
stupid.
there are none.
The
One person
comparison
lost
is
their life. The other person is out there still playing basketball,
It's a
making a
s-
lot of money.
it's a stupid comparison. Like when people used to get mad about the $40 million slaves. There's actually a book, $1 million Slaves, about comparing professional athletes to slavery.
Slavery.
And most people seem to understand, like, yeah, that's not, like, even if you may have a point, it's not the best of analogies.
Like your draft process and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, like you guys aren't not wrong, but slavery is, it's a
Two
really
totally different
it's a
things.
really different thing. That's the point we're trying to make. No one
These
is
niggas-
saying
Them
that.
niggas are negotiating contracts.
No
They
one
are-
is saying that white women tears aren't dangerous. They are very dangerous. No one, we can all admit that. What we're saying is, in this context, it is a stupid, stupid analogy. God bless everybody. Shout out to the WNBA. Shout out to you guys for sticking here and watching, and shout out to the Democrats. I don't know.
Free Palestine.